I'm thinking of welcoming Kaliana here, who found time to share her personal stories about Maldek and Lemuria. And I know Kaliana from my own healing session with her, which was beautiful. And I invited her to share what I couldn't find elsewhere, because twin flames in relation to Maldek and Lemurian egg, there was no stories whatsoever about this on the internet. So here we are to record your beautiful stories. If you would like to say a few more words about who you are, what you do, you're very welcome. To me, I know that my favorite meditations that originated from Divine University eventually led me to you, to keep it short.
Well, I'm a mentor of the Divine University, but before becoming a mentor of the Divine University, I had been doing my own body of work for many, many years. And part of how that started for me is that I studied A Course in Miracles, is how it started for me. And at the end of that, it was like, even now to this day, I still do a short prayer from that, which is I dedicate my life to be in alignment with the at-one-ment, not atonement, at-one-ment. Mother, Father, God, make my day. And so that has led me all over the world. It's a deep inner journey, because we can't offer something to someone unless we have actually faced it within ourselves. And for many souls now, this may be their last lifetime. I've been told many times it's mine. We can't leave anything behind. And so often the soul comes in and incarnates because there's some unresolved issues that the soul has not resolved whilst embodied. And so that led me to many things. I'm with my husband of Rama. We've been together 38 years. I think we met on the in September on a sacred time, and we are a twin flame couple. Now, not everyone's journey is to be physically with their twin flame. There's a lot of old stories about how one is in spirit, one is not. One's in the earth, one's in spirit. And part of what that comes to, because my work is about healing the separation between the angelic, the human, the light, the dark, the male, the female. So that's led me on many, many journeys. My husband and I are about to offer a weekend, a Saturday workshop in this area on sacred union. But before we could do that, we had to resolve so many things, because a twin flame is not just like a soulmate. You might meet many soulmates, and there's different aspects of twin flames as well in our multidimensional natures. So we had to, in order to hold space for sacred union, which is a deep healing between the masculine and feminine energies, to support the healing of the inner, which is in the thymus, high heart chakra, is the seat of the twin flame within. So the outward always mirrors back to us what we need to resolve within. So Rama and I triggered each other so much, so we can hold space. We have no judgment around what comes up in relationships, because a twin flame remembers union. Was the one soul that split into two aspects, and then of course there's many other aspects that separate from that, but we were an original twin flame. And so the twin flame remembers union, and it wants it. And so it literally brings to the surface anything blocking that union. And so we own that in our sacred union work, which we've taught all around the world, that, it's important to listen, because what is being mirrored back to you, like me as a woman, what the masculine mirrors back to me shows me the inner work I've got to do, because we're here to birth heaven on earth. And in order to do that, how do we birth on earth? We birth when the male and female come together. So if we're going to birth that Christ consciousness within ourselves, we need to marry our own inner twin flame. And if your mission is to do that with an external representation of that, which was for Rama and I, because that's part of our mission, to hold that, because we own that we are a twin flame couple, because many don't make it. It is so intense. A lovely lady, Catherine Ann Clements, who wrote The Voices of the Magdalene with Clear Heart Song, said that when a twin flame comes together, it is so powerful, it can either birth or destroy a planet. Maldek. So in my experience of Maldek, I was shown the planet exploding. And it was a really, really intense emotional experience, because I was in such grief, saying to Spirit, why are you showing me this? I can't go home. And this is an aspect of me, not all. We have many aspects that have lived and journeyed through many stargates, but this was Maldek. So Maldek, and this is just my own personal experience, was every planet is overlighted by a logos, an ascended cosmic being. And who was overlighting Maldek was Lucifer. Lucifer, light, angel of light. So Lucifer went into what is known as the free will experience or experiment, which is that not aligned to divine will, which is mostly what the angelics do, my will. And that's what's acting out on earth at the moment. Not what is the highest good for all life, all beings, but what I want personally, be it power, be it money. And so Lucifer, in the middle of Maldek, in the very center, were twin flames. through their full chakra union, they received from Lucifer as the Logos light. That would come into their beings through their full chakra union. They would radiate it to the planet, and it stayed balanced. When Lucifer went into the free will experience, they radiated that because that was their mission to do that. It was so unbalanced. The decisions that were made by the Maldekians from free will ended up causing the planet to be so unbalanced that it exploded. It's said that it became the asteroid belt in the Milky Way, that they're the remnants of Maldek. Maldek is still alive and well as the great central moon. So we can still, and I have accessed my soul family from Maldek, beautiful beings with long silver white hair, blue-green eyes. They just radiated pure love. That's what they did, but it became so unbalanced. You can Google Maldek on the internet and you will get, which I never did until I was recently asked to write an article for the Gratitude Diary through a friend, Melanie Spears. And so for the first time ever, I Googled it, and that can be so confusing because some say all different theories on why Maldek exploded or who exploded it. For me personally, all I can speak about is my own experience, which is the imbalance of free will. So the Maldeks, they couldn't save the children. So this is a pattern that a beautiful friend of mine did for me. And what it shows is this beautiful being sitting on Uluru. She came from the Pleiades. It was my soul. And it's to heal the wound of Maldek. Because it was such a betrayal, it literally shifted so much of the orbit of the world because of what happened in Maldek. And so it wasn't just an isolated thing. I've sat with a beautiful Maori seeress in New Zealand, and she said to me, "Oh, you've come to heal the wound of when the planet exploded. And you've walked with such respect." And she said to me, "You don't have to earn your maka," which is the tattooing. She said, "You've earned it, and you'll go back, and people will find you who have that wound." And the wound of Maldek, even though it may so long ago it happened, our soul is eternal. And so if you are here to birth who you truly are, this is one of the wounds of the twin flame body is Maldek. And the thought forms that were taken on were, it's not safe to connect to guidance, is one of the thought forms. The other one is huge responsibility around the children, because it all happened so quickly. In the end, they couldn't save the children. And so I had both those things happening in my world. And when the New Zealand beautiful lady shared this with me, I went to a place in New Zealand after that reading, and it was like a cave. You had to go down this whole bowl of energy, and there was a little cave that my friend took me to, and it was so narrow you had to walk through sideways to get into it. And I don't normally have open auric vision. I see with my eyes closed. I'm clairvoyant, but I'm not necessarily seeing eyes open. But I did. The whole cave filled with light, and these beings came through, and they said they were here to heal the wound of Maldek, because a lot of the beings were brought in cocoons here because they were so soul fragmented. Apparently they had to reseed because the feminine was barren. In my experience, it came through Uluru, Sacred Centre of Australia, which is the power centre. So if you look at Uluru being the power or the solar plexus chakra of the whole world, and you look at Maldek, it does relate to power. And so that's where a lot of my healing happened. I've been to Uluru 13 times in sacred space, sometimes dancing with Indigenous women there. And they know about the planet that exploded. It's in many Indigenous stories. So I'm holding this pattern up, so if whoever gets to see this, you can ask for resolution and healing of anything unresolved from Maldek that is affecting your own inner union now and your relationships. Because what will happen is, if you have an unresolved wound from Maldek, you may go into a relationship, but you'll sabotage it. You'll never fully open to full chakra union, because the twin flames blamed themselves. Because they literally imploded in front of each other when the planet exploded, but they were just doing what their commission was, but they blamed themselves. If we had not channeled that energy to Maldek, then it wouldn't have exploded. But there's some stories even that they were experimenting with nuclear energy, which is, so much happening on the earth right now. So this, I'll just read you the affirmation that goes with this in my Flower Essence book. I draw on the support of Uluru as I allow the true teachings of the higher energies to birth and manifest their gifts through me in support of the divine plan for the restoration and awakening of the angelic humans. And for me to hold that energy for others, because the lovely lady, the Maori seeress, said to me, you will go back. You will grieve it in your husband's arms, and many people will find you. So I asked my friend Eleni to draw this for me, so that when I know it's got different flower essences from my flower essence codes, supporting the healing of that wound of Maldek. And so it is important, even though we can say, well, I'm living in the present moment, but if you are here to birth who you are here, which is the Christed angelic being for the heaven on earth mission, because the earth is Christening, not about a religion, it's about the Christ planes of Shambhala of divine love. So it said that Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, or the ones, Joseph of Arimathea, who lived and acted that out, were literally giving codes to the earth and a blueprint of how to be a Christed being through male-female balance. A lot of that got hidden and distorted. That's coming out now, more so with a great support of Mary Magdalene's journey, because she was representing the Christed feminine on earth. So in my work, I've done a whole body of work called the Magdalene Codes, solar, because the feminine has been in the passive lunar, and we need to own the power of the solar. I've done Yeshua Codes, which is the lunar Christed masculine, because men have to open up their feeling center, which was closed down in patriarchy. So a lot of what I'm talking a little bit about now is the work we do in our Sacred Union workshops, which is to the feminine and masculine to meet each other and bring in the universal law of forgiveness. In our workshops, I would say, as a woman, when I stand in front of the men, I say, what I forgive you for. And then I say, I also ask your forgiveness for what I have done as a woman, because we all acted out separate matriarchal, patriarchal ages. And so it's all about how the inner reflects through the universal law of reflection to the outer. And so it is, a lot of twin flames are embodying, some are walking in, because we need, in order to birth, we need X amount of twin flames to be embodied. And in my experience, when Rama and I make love, we end up under the Sphinx on disc with other twin flames to open up the halls of Amente. So the halls of Amente are the ascension, for the earth to ascend through all the stargates, to become Gaia. Gaia is the ascended of Mother Earth. And so a lot of what's happening on the earth at this time, as I see it, is that they can't measure anymore. It's so high, the light coming to the earth from the Christ planes, and Mother Earth is ascending to meet it, to become Christened as a planet of love. So all of that light is shining on all the darkness. And that's why it's all acting out now. We can go, oh, this is horrible, what's happening? But hey, we're seeing it. And that can bring us back to choice. Because part of the wound of Maldek is that beings don't fully connect to their ascended selves or higher selves or presence because of what happened on Maldek, feeling betrayed. But also, they're not being their full gifts as a starseed. Because as the earth is ascending to become a star, we need to walk the energy that we brought from all of our ascended selves to support the earth to become a star. So that's why everything's coming to the surface and it's so intense. So that's my experience of Maldek. And it's an amazing, thank you, Ohana, because, whoever you share this with may not meet me, and it's part of my commission to support people to heal that wound of Maldek. So always ask for grace, willing to have resolution and healing for anything unresolved that my soul memory has of Maldek, so that I may claim my own inner union and birth myself here in support of the heaven on earth mission. And it's part of the wound of the angelic and the human, because Lucifer, angel of light, angelic, human. So the Maldekians were brought to earth in cocoons. They were so soul fragmented. So, there is that split between the angelic and the human, and we all have that potential. The Christ child is the angelic human. So I'm not saying I have it all together. I certainly don't. I'll be 76 in August, and I got activated hugely in my 30s. So I've been doing this work for a long time, women's work, men's. I've actually facilitated groups for men as well. It's for my own inner union. It's taken me around the world, taking codes that I've done for the endocrine system, the Yeshua Magdalene codes, light of Christ consciousness, to help seed that and lift those wounds from the songlines of the earth in support of Mother Earth, because I believe she allowed people to evolve through acting out things on earth, and she's saying no to that. She's saying no to being a planet where there's such cruelty. What's happening on the earth at this time. You could say, some people say, what's what's happening in Gaza, or that the distortion, the abuse of prisoners, of the those who go in to help with food, who are tortured. Someone said, oh, it's, their beast nature. It's not a beast nature. Beasts don't turn on their own kind necessarily, unless they're battling to head the herd. So humans hurting another human is someone who's closed down from their heart chakra. That's all it is. So we need to pray for them. There's a thought form on our planet that says abuse is okay. And that's what acts out here. So we need to put our light. And I've facilitated groups where asking us all, when we're in our light, to send light to that planetary thought form, to dismantle it. It is not okay for abuse on this planet in any form. what we need to do is dismantle some of those thought forms. They sit over cities. So someone may go to a city and all of a sudden find they're acting in a certain way because there's a planetary thought form created over that place, which is a distortion. And so there is that distortion of abuse is okay or justified, or war is justified. It isn't. Peace is a way to resolve things, not through war and killing people, our own race. So that's my opinion anyway, take it or leave it. So that's Maldek.